Welcome back to Niners Nation. The 49ers have reported to training camp in Santa Clara, which means the NFL offseason is over. I thought I'd kick things off by taking a look at 5 of the most important training camp position battles and storylines as we head into August. The first position I want to look at is wide receiver. The 49ers added a lot of talent in free agency, signing Randy Moss and Mario Manningham. Moss has reportedly looked great in OTAs, but until he puts on the pads and we start seeing some hitting, it'll be interesting to see how his speed is held up over the course of the last year, having sat out the 2011 season. Manningham is coming off some Super Bowl heroics, but he'll be looking to break out even further with the 49ers. He and Moss will be right behind Michael Crabtree on the depth chart. The 49ers' biggest storyline at wide receiver could end up being Kyle Williams. He struggled with fumbles in last year's NFC Championship game, but he did have a solid year as a receiver that he's looking to build on this year. Additionally, the 49ers drafted A.J. Jenkins out of Illinois. Jenkins was a solid wide receiver in college, but some considered him a reach, and it will be interesting to see how much playing time he actually gets at the wide receiver position, considering the depth. The second position that we're going to take a look at is right guard. Alex Boone appears to have more or less won the job at OTAs, but I'm sure he'll get a little bit of competition in training camp once things settle in. It'll also be interesting to see what happens with Daniel Kilgore, who has primarily worked as the backup center. Kilgore could still switch out to guard, particularly if there's an injury on offensive tackle, because Alex Boone would then have to switch out there, which creates a bit of a convoluted process. The 49ers also have Mike Person, who they drafted in 2011. He's been working as a backup offensive tackle, and so maybe the 49ers are hoping that they can turn him into their swing tackle. And of course, the 49ers also drafted Joe Looney this past year. He's starting training camp on the PUP list due to his Liz Frank injury. They're hoping to have him back, hopefully in the first couple weeks of training camp. He could be the right guard of the future if he can get healthy. The third position battle I wanted to look at is running back. The 49ers have Frank Gore, who is the franchise's all-time leading rusher, but as he gets a little bit older, they're considering some other options. They drafted Kendall Hunter in 2011 and LaMichael James in 2012, and those two are likely to get the lion's share of the carries behind Gore, and at some point could supplant him. I don't know if it'll be this year, but it could happen sooner rather than later. The 49ers also have Brandon Jacobs and Anthony Dixon, who really are battling more for the power running back position. Neither is a sure thing to make the roster, although Dixon is a bit more of a long shot than Jacobs. Jacobs does seem rejuvenated since leaving the Giants, and he does have the Super Bowl ring, of course, which helps. But it's going to be interesting to see if he makes the roster, if he can prove that he is more than Twinkle Toes. The fourth position battle I'm going to take a look at is really the third/fourth cornerback position. The 49ers do have Carlos Rogers and Terrell Brown starting to open training camp. Beyond that, though, you're looking at a battle between Chris Culliver, Parrish Cox, and Tremaine Brock for playing time. Culliver emerged as the nickelback last year and at some point could move into the starting lineup. But for now, he'll be fighting off Parrish Cox primarily, who the 49ers added in free agency. And Tremaine Brock has slowly worked his way up from undrafted free agent to practice squad to active roster, and will be looking to really push for more playing time, probably in sort of that dime back role. The fifth storyline that I feel is going to be important this training camp is backup safety. Right now, Deshaun Goldson, pending him signing his franchise tender, and Dante Whitner are your starting safeties. Both had solid 2011 seasons, and we'll be looking to build on that. But there really isn't a whole lot of depth behind them. Right now, C.J. Spillman is the most experienced backup. He spent most of last year on special teams, although he did come in for their goal line packages. He'll be working against Trenton Robinson, who the 49ers drafted out of Michigan State this past year. He's been getting a lot of time with Goldson and Whitner both kind of not really practicing a whole lot. Goldson obviously out while he waits to sign his tender, and Whitner dealing with some modest bumps and bruises. And of course, there is also Stanford safety Michael Thomas. Although he is an undrafted free agent, he does have the benefit of having played with Vic Fangio at one point at Stanford, so that could work in his favor. And since we started filming this, the 49ers signed Darcel McBath. He had originally been drafted by the Broncos. He could potentially compete for some playing time if he can make the roster. It's going to be a long shot given the late addition, but he'll get his chances. All right, that's it for now. I really feel that those are 5 of the most important training camp position battles, but obviously there are plenty of other battles that will be going on over the course of August. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure and check back at our SB Nation NFL YouTube channel for training camp videos and subscribe at youtube.com/SB Nation.